We can move the agenda along. Mr. Silkworth.
Good evening, President Gill and Vice President Corkadell, Dr. Alana, distinguished board members. My name is Robert Silkworth. I'm here this evening as a member of the High School Concerns Group and the ASI CAC Advisory Group. The great news, thanks for the opportunity to collaborate. These groups have already met several times, and we have discussed concerns about performance matters, redo issues, workload issues for special ed teachers, the role of DCs, the role of restorative practice in our schools, and of course teachers covering classes because of lack of substitutes. For the most part, these are issues that we seem to discuss every year, and we need to tweak them a little bit. This year is my 48th year as a teacher. You might remember that last year I told you that last year was one of my most difficult and challenging years, and it was. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the job of a teacher is overwhelming. That is sometimes why we lose teachers early in the year. I want to try to help you understand from my perspective as a veteran classroom teacher. I always tell young or new teachers that the most important thing in the beginning of the year is the building of that relationship piece between the teacher and students. When we look at these new faces, we do not know one another. There is no bond which connects us. In French, they call it un lien. We don't have that lien. This lien is essential if learning and growth are to take place. As I often do, I ask some of my students at the beginning of the year to do something. I give them the statement. I say, complete this. If my teacher only knew. I want to share a few of these with you this year. This is what a student said to me. If my teacher only knew that my mom had to go to the hospital and she died a few weeks ago. If my teacher only knew that I have serious anger problems and I can't focus in your class, I'm not going to pass. If my teacher only knew that I cannot complete all of my work because I have to go home and take care of my brothers and sisters every day. If my teacher only knew that I've been so angry and out of focus because my brother was shot and he's in the hospital. If my teacher only knew that my mom has an addiction and she seems to care more about that than me. If my teacher only knew that I'm hungry, my parents are out of work, there's not much to eat. Ladies and gentlemen, this is from one class. So now I know a little bit about my students. And although I do not have all the answers, I know that part of my job is to help my students cope with the issues they face each and every day. That's my job. And it can be overwhelming. Ladies and gentlemen, there's good news. 48 years experience, I worked a little magic. The student who lost his mom is back at school and coping well. The student with anger management problems finished Q1 with 81% when she failed every course last year. The student caring for siblings is also passing all classes and is better organized. The brother who was upset and angry about his brother being shot is happy his brother survived. The student who is bitter about her mom's addiction is coping much better and has a better understanding of her problem. She is much more understanding. She's less bitter. The student who was hungry sometimes still needs help. And at North County High School, guess what? That's what we do. This student knows where to go. As educators, it is our job to know our students and to care about them. And that's the importance of the relationship piece. Ladies and gentlemen, we all must know about one another, our students, our colleagues, our fellow board members. We all must challenge ourselves to build relationships in a positive manner each and every day so that we can meet the needs of the people we serve. It can be overwhelming, but ladies and gentlemen, failure is not an option. Vice President Gill and distinguished board members, Dr. Alana and friends, my name is Robert Silkworth, and I'm here this evening once again as the chairperson of the High School Concerns Committee. We did meet on September 12. First of all, for your information, we have made some changes in our meeting schedule to guarantee that we do have as much representation as possible, which will allow us to better identify the concerns in our high schools. So we will still meet monthly, but we will meet at the ARC TAC meeting. Great news, folks. It's that there is a focus this year on the building of relationships in our schools. The key to success in our schools and the key to closing any gap, whether it be the achievement gap or the attitude gap, rests with the building of relationships. We believe that a framework has been put in place to allow for the building of relationships. However, there must be a great deal of collaboration between all of the stakeholders. There are some success stories and there are also some challenges which we must face if in fact we will be able to say that we have done our very best to guarantee that all of our students and staff will have the chance to shine and show the greatness that we know is within them. On a personal note, I will tell you that for me in my 47th year, it has been one of the most challenging years in my entire career. I have made more phone calls to moms, dads, and guardians than ever before. In September, several classes of mine were a nightmare for me and my students. It was difficult at times to conduct classes because of the many issues that we had. It's not perfect today, but it is much better for several reasons. One is that we have been able to create some meaningful relationships. Another is that a large majority of parents have been very supportive and have helped us change the behaviors. And that is what it's all about, folks, a change of behavior. Although I have received some support administratively, I will tell you that office referrals and restorative practices have not made the difference. What makes a difference is when we have our students, or when our students learn from teachers and parents that we have expectations and that we expect everyone to rise to those expectations. That's one piece of the puzzle, ladies and gentlemen, that we will tell you does need some of our attention. Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you that there are some concerns in our high schools about the basic philosophy of discipline with a focus on restorative practices. Everyone does not yet fully understand these issues, and in fact, everyone has not even been trained on the concept of restorative practices, so we need to continue to do more of that. Today is Unity Day, October 24th. I am happy to tell you all students have the precious right to a safe class environment and a safe life. No student has the right to take that away. I am a bully blocker in the classroom and out of the classroom, and I am proud to tell you that I'm wearing orange today, Unity Day. Ladies and gentlemen, I usually end with kudos. As you all know, I have three. First of all, I do believe that it's fitting to thank and congratulate our North County Unified Tennis team. They won the county championship again. Secondly, Dr. Alada and your staff, we thank you so much. North County recently had a death in among a member of our staff, and you were kind enough to send so many people to help us out to get through that time. And then finally, I too would also like to thank all of the stakeholders who stood today to keep our schools safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Silkworth.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ellis. I don't see any more comments from board members. Do we have any testimony from the audience? Yes, sir, Mr. Silkworth. Please state your name officially.
My name is Robert Silkworth. I'm a 48-year veteran teacher. I have to say, the testimony that I've heard that resonated with me so far about this subject was from our student member. From my standpoint, my philosophy is about caring for students. It's about the building of relationships. I go back to 1972, Brooklyn Park High School. I taught classes with 43, 45 students. We have classes today, I think, that are as large. The reason her testimony resonated with me, because she talked about that relationship piece between her as a student and the teacher. With all due respect, I think we should keep the recommendation, because the more teachers that we can get to be able to lower the class sizes so that teachers will have a better shot at building the relationship piece between themselves and their students, the better chance we're going to be able to do so many things, the better chance they're going to have for a great education. They'll be able to achieve their potential, and we'll be able to close some of the gaps that we have.